Kia ora te whānau, welcome back to another episode. We're here with Rochelle again from R&P Insurance, and we're going to be going into a bit more detail about the different insurances that Rochelle works specifically in. But before we started, I did just want to put a disclaimer out that none of this information that we're going to be covering should be taken as advice. It's all general, and Rochelle will be talking from her own experiences. Please don't take anything as advice. And yeah, thank you so much to R&P Insurance for powering these episodes. I'm excited again to be having a kōrero about insurance. So,
what a sentence. Excited about insurance. I love to hear it.
Let's make it fun.
Yeah, very good.
So what are the different insurances that you work in or this area?
Yes, so life insurance, serious illness, which is also known as trauma or critical illness, income and mortgage protection, private health insurance.
Wow, what a handful.
That's a suite. Yeah, that's a suite of covers / products, depending on how you view it. Yeah.
So tell me a bit about each of those and what they entail.
Yes, so we'll start with life because that seems to be one that most people know of.
Yeah.
But then also are unsure what it actually covers. So life insurance is, I guess, more death insurance because it doesn't actually pay out until you pass away.
Yeah.
So it's actually not for you. It's for your whānau or those that you leave behind. So life insurance, you can choose how much you put in place and what you put it in place for. I'm going to share what I have because I feel like that helps people go, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Oh, yep, that makes sense to me. So I, again, single mother, I'm going to hear that a lot and be like, okay, we get it. You're amazing. No.
You are amazing.
I think my daughter doesn't think so sometimes.
Manaya.
I know, right? She's 16, I get it. But I think for life insurance, so what I have in place for me and my daughter is basically, when I say us, it's really just for her.
Yep.
And also for my partner as well now. So we've got a bit of a blended family sitch coming in. So how it's built up is that I have, Manaya goes to private high school. So I obviously had her young, and my way of doing and being the best mum that I could be was investing in her education and giving her the best opportunities rather than buying a house.
Yep.
So I don't own a home, I rent with my partner. She's going to finish school in a couple of years and then I'll be rich. No, I'm pretty sure she'll still live on my payroll. And then we'll look at buying a home. But that's what I've invested in. So I would never want that taken away from her if I wasn't here.
Yep.
So I've got that set aside and for her to board. All my whānau are in Australia and so are her other side of her family.
Yep.
So I put travel costs in there so that she could go back and forth if she wanted to, or completely up and move if that's what she decided. She's 16 now, so we actually had to sit down on the couch and have a chat about it. And she said she'd actually like to stay with Nick. And then it was she just looked over it and was like, is that okay with you? And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And that was our final chat around if I die. And they both just said, can you not? Because we really need you. You know, I do all the admin. But I think, so making sure she can still go to private school. She can be raised in the way that I would raise her in regards to quality. There's a bit of money there for tertiary education and or a house deposit, depending on how she goes. Travel costs back and forth from Australia. What else did I put in there? Oh, funeral. So tangi. I'm in Christchurch now, but my marae are in the Coromandel area, so Manaya on the Coromandel coast, and in Paeroa. So I'd have to get my body from there to there, and so I've got money set aside for that as well, to have a nice big party. I
was going to say cool, but cool.
Yeah. It's all good to talk about, but I mean, it's not going to happen. So we just, I think that's the way that I think about it. And at each stage of life, it's going to change. So when Manaya is 18, it's going to be, okay, I've got this, and Nick and I buy a house. It's going to be, okay, my life insurance is probably going to pay off my part of the mortgage. So that's Nick's house. And then the rest of it's going to go to her. She's going to have money go to her as an inheritance that she might get when she's like 25, 30. I'm actually thinking 30 because I wasn't.
When the brain's fully developed.
Yeah, because I was like, I wasn't great with money until, I mean, I would never profess to be great with money. I like clothes, but I think I like nice things. But I think 30 is a good stage to do everything, to be fair, to have kids, buy a house, all of that. So, yeah, I'm thinking about that. But at each stage of life, it'll change. But for now, it's just all about her and making sure she can be wrapped around her whānau and her lifestyle doesn't have to change so much after losing probably the most important person to her in her life. Yeah.
Mm. Is that something you kind of review like each time, like maybe a scenario changes, maybe when she finishes high school and goes to uni or whatever it is that like the times that you kind of review it, I guess?
Yeah. And I review it. I mean, everyone should review their insurances yearly.
Okay.
Often we're just looking at it and going, oh, great, it's gone up, and you kind of move on. But I think what you need to do is review the amount that you're insured for and go, what would this do for me? With life insurance specifically, what will this do for my whānau? What will this do for my kids? Because if it's you're getting spare money, awesome. If it's not enough because you've gone and got more debt, or you've had another baby or something like that, life insurance is the cheapest of all of the covers and the easiest to get if we've got health issues. Which is, we're never guaranteed insurance, so we always have to apply. But if that's all you've got, that's a good start, right? And I think that was always the one that I got first. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Next ones. So that's life insurance. If you do end up following us on Instagram and you scroll through the grid, there will be a million different posts in several different ways that explain life insurance as well, or you can directly ask us more questions. But it is pretty simple. You die, that's where it goes. It will also pay out if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness with 12 months to live. So
you get that like when you get the terminal illness?
Yeah, when you're diagnosed, when a doctor says, hey, you've only got 12 months to live, then you can advance on your life insurance at that stage. So if you wanted to like bucket list at that point, then you could.
Would you still get the one after you die, like for your family, or would you get one or the other?
One or the other, because you're just advancing on it.
Okay.
So I guess like, when you think about when you pass away, and wouldn't it be ideal if you could just sit at a table and be like, hey, you get this and you get this? I guess you'd be in that situation at that point in time. So that's what that does. It's not in every single life insurance policy. Everything's policy specific. So what I would say there is get advice. I know it's easy to jump online and not talk to somebody. Okay, I'm not that scary. It's just the amount of policies I've seen that are so crap or haven't been set up properly. And when I say crap, they're just not right for you. It's not about the company. You don't pay any more for insurance coming through us, and I would actually argue it's less.
Okay.
Because the insurance, we're asking you so many questions, the risk is lower than if you go online and do it yourself without any advice. Then that insurance company will charge you more because their risk is higher that they're going to have to pay out on something that they probably shouldn't have. Yeah. So I think that's a way to look at it. The next covers are, I guess, serious illness or total and permanent disability. Okay. So when we say serious illness, I'm talking like cancer, strokes, heart attacks, all that stuff that, severe diabetes. Right. All the stuff that, unfortunately, like
things you can't recover from?
We can.
Okay.
If you've got the right support.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's going to have a huge impact on your life. And people always say to me, well, why would I have serious illness cover if I've got income protection? Or why would I have that when I've got ACC or the public health system? Yeah. Couple of things. ACC do not pay for illness, only for accident. And that's another conversation when we get to income cover. Then income protection will never cover you for 100% of your income. Technically, there are ways around things. But so if you've got a serious illness and you're talking 6 to 12 months, can you live off of between 60 to 80% of your income? I don't think I could now.
No, I don't think I could.
Like, I'm still in a startup business,
Yeah.
So I think that's what income protection does. So the serious illness cover as a lump sum can then come in and pay to you, which means if you've got income protection and serious illness cover, they work together as a team so that you're not left financially worse off whilst you go get better. And I'm talking getting cancer treatment and not having to work through it. Insurance companies there's so many different policies. It gets very comprehensive. There's a lot of very intricate terms. But essentially, You can have cover between, it's usually really good covers are usually between 45 to 70 conditions that are covered,
Wow.
which is a lot of serious illnesses. And if I named them all, you'd get quite depressed. But I think what I want to say is it's very comprehensive. It's lump sum, so it's not super expensive in comparison to income protection because that's ongoing for many years. It could be. And it's the one when people come into me and they get to that stage where they're like, I've got passive income. I don't know if I really need the income protection. I've got a business and I can earn income without being in it. I tell them to keep their trauma because you will eventually claim on it. I've claimed on mine. Just a portion, but I've claimed on mine, which was for the step before cervical cancer. Helped with my private high school fees, my nice fees, I will say. But it's just... when I think of it from a Māori and Pacifica community point of view, we're at the bad end of the stats for all of those things I mentioned. Yeah. So this cover is essential. Even if we don't have anything else, that one, life and trauma, can always, again, be a good start. But so serious illness, you might hear it be called serious illness, trauma, or critical conditions. A lot of people call it cancer cover.
Okay.
Yep. But it's just a lot of serious illnesses included, and will include sometimes include total and permanent disability, so you could never work again because you've had a really serious accident or something. Lump sum cash just to help you out. You can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to be out of work to claim on it. You just have to be diagnosed with the right condition.
Wow.
I don't know if right's the right word.
Yeah, maybe the wrong condition.
But
for the right.
The one that it listed. Yeah. So that's kind of, I guess, those are the lump sum covers. And lump sums are always, again, going to be a lot more attractive from a premium point of view. When we say premium, I mean cost. It's just an insurance thing. And where a lot of people might start.
Okay.
Another side of that is accidental injury or specific injury cover. That's also a lump sum. So say if you break something or it's like you break a bone and need a cast, you just get a lump sum of 10 grand maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't go breaking bones on purpose, please. A lot of people are like, ooh. If you have an accidental injury, you need a surgery, 15 grand. It's very specific on what you're covered for and everything, but that's the basics of it. I've had a few people, even friends, claim on it in the last year. Very handy. You don't have to be out of work. Doesn't affect ACC. It's cheap. It's usually a couple of dollars, $2 to $3 a week max.
Wow.
You have to have like life or something else with it. But most insurance companies, they have it and they call it something different. But it is really handy to have. It's not income protection. My partner said something like, it just sounds like free money. There isn't really a catch here, I guess. But if I were to try find one, it would be that the injury has to be very specific. It's not that you just have an accident and you're covered. It has to be specific to what's on the policy. So, but I mean, if you got the cover, we'd explain that to you anyway. Yeah. Next up would be income or mortgage protection. So a lot of people think like mortgage protection. I mean, what would your view be? I'll let you kind of feel like I'm talking a lot.
Maybe if you've lost your job or something and you still need to pay your mortgage, you can't afford to pay your mortgage. Maybe during the flooding and stuff, people need to still pay their mortgage, but maybe they've moved out of their homes. Yeah. Would that be one?
No. So, and that's why I wanted to ask, because it gives, there's nothing wrong with your answer. I just think people, especially mortgage protection, really gets people. So income protection and mortgage protection are essentially the same thing. Oh. They do the same thing. Yep. Income protection, I mean, either one of them might have a couple of little fancy inbuilt benefits or something else different, but it's just a different name. So they both will pay you a monthly amount. Some companies might do weekly or fortnightly, whatever. Generally, it's monthly. They'll pay you in a monthly amount based on your income, should you be unable to work due to illness or injury. Oh. So it's only health related. All of these insurances are health related. There's usually a wait period. So you'd have to be able to work for, say, a month before you could start receiving that. We often will recommend a combination of both, mortgage and income protection. Mortgage protection, essentially, the only difference between that and income protection is that mortgage protection is not affected by ACC.
Oh, okay.
And what I mean by that is if you just have income protection, you are out of work because you've had an accident, if ACC pay you 80% of your income, your income protection will be reduced by that same amount. So you actually won't get it. because your income protection might be 75% of your income.
Okay.
ACC is 80, so they kind of cancel each other out. Yeah. Mortgage protection doesn't happen. I believe it's just like because it's about your mortgage or it's your biggest living expense rather than being about your income.
Okay.
So we are limited in what we can cover on mortgage protection. We'll do as much as we can for you, depending on however that looks. Can be for rent as well. You don't have to own a home. Mm-hmm. But we do that there, and then we just top up with the income protection what we can. So essentially, sick or injured, there will be something there to protect you. It can pay up to the age of 65. So we're talking millions of dollars if you ever get to a stage where you could not work again. Now, there are a lot of people after COVID where mental health has been quite a common claim, which is really tough. So when we talk about income protection and even health insurance is the same and pre-existing conditions, those are important to note, and it's important to tell us everything so that you know what you're covered for and what you're not covered for when it comes to claim time, and do that all up front, because if you've got a pre-existing condition, likely it would be excluded on those two.
So in terms of mental health, let's say, could you give an example of how that would kind of work? Would it be like a new diagnosis or a pre-existing diagnosis for mental health?
As a claim?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for a claim, it would be a new diagnosis that took you out of work. Because that's where your claim on it is your income protection or total and permanent disability as well, where actually this illness, because it is an illness, it's a standard everyday illness, horrible, but that's what it is. And if it's taking you out of work, and that could be short, long term, it could be forever, then, and you've got the cover and it's not pre-existing, then that is available for you to claim on. I think it's very important to note. And a lot of insurance companies will put so much into, what's the word for it? Trying to help you better your mental health even before it happens. Because they want to help you. They don't ever want you to get to that point, because not working when you're when you're already feeling like that, I don't know, it makes it worse, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, I have, I'll be honest, I've got a mental health exclusion on my income protection and mortgage protection covers because I've had anxiety in the past. I honestly would question my sanity in general if I didn't, just with the life how I grow up and the life that I've had. It would have surprised me if I didn't. So I was honest. I was like, look, I've experienced this, and every now and again, I hate flying. Like, cannot stand it, because and I figured out it's actually not the plane. It's because I'm not in control. So we're working on it, but we're always working on ourselves. But yeah, these are the types of things that people just, you don't think anything's going to happen to you. But insurance is a way to just kind of give you a little safety net.
And I guess not a silver lining, but I guess as more and more things keep on happening, when we're looking at, like the cyclone, I've got people in my whānau who have become quite ill, and it's like things like this that keep on reminding me that, like, just because it's good now for me at least, like things happen and we have no warning signs, things just happen, and so finding ways to be able to best protect ourselves when they do happen, I think is an important thing.
And I think, like, when it's good, it's always the best time to do things. Like when you're in a good place, obviously enjoy it, but like when you're in a good place, that's the time to do things, because you want to get insurance before you need it. Because highly likely that you're not going to have cover for what you already have. And look, and Philly does as well, we count ourselves as very good advisors, and we're very good at, like, I would never tell anybody directly what to do. I'm a nice person, I'm a good person, but if I have to fight for you, I will. I'm a very good advocate, and I can fight an insurance company tooth and nail to do the right thing, but sometimes it is what it is. So if you can help us out by coming young and healthy, or working on yourself to better those outcomes, then we're here for that, and we want to look after you.
Cool. So, were there any other ones that we didn't go over?
Health insurance.
Insurance.
I left till last because we've got it's quite the big kōrero that you can get into. I think, especially us, and we had a chat in the first one around us being endo sisters and how that affects us. And I guess for you, like, what is your experience so far in the public health system, and, you know, what is...
Oh, it's terrible, honestly. Like, the whole system is terrible, and I think that there's so much, like, for myself at least, I think in the past I've definitely, like, neglected my own health, and there have been times where even, like, whilst at uni, I've had my emergency fund and I've had money and I've been able to save my money, but even when I've got to that stage, just ask my partner, there have been times where I've literally said, I'm not going to the doctors because I don't want to pay for it, and even if I had the money, and that for me is just, like, red flag number one. But also I think it's something that we're constantly working on, especially if you grew up in an environment where money was tight and you wanted to, you know, keep it. I have this like kaitiaki mindset when it comes to money where I don't want to see it go. And so even if I have it, I didn't want to pay for the doctors. So now I've stopped doing that and I do pay for the doctors. But I think one thing that I've noticed is that I can show up to appointments, I can make those bookings, I can go for my scans and everything, and the support just isn't there because I think I was 14 when I started my endo journey, like going to doctors and stuff. I was 18 when the diagnosis happened, and now I'm 19, and so basically it's just been like endless appointments after appointments, and it's just been the same stuff after the same stuff. Nothing's really changed. They give me all of these pills and stuff, oh, you know, take this and just manage your pain and stuff, go for walks and stuff, and I listen and I'll try my best and stuff, but essentially nothing drastically positive has happened. So I'm trying, but I think that the support isn't as good as it could be.
Yeah. And whilst I don't want to discount your experience, but I think a lot of other people have that same experience. And there's something, I mean, you know, if there's anybody that works in the public health system, this isn't anything against the public health system. I guess I want to preface that as well. It's just they do such an amazing job and they do their best. It's just there's an endless pot of money needed to give everybody the care that they deserve and that would make them, you know, recover well and all of that. And it's just... people will talk about the public health system and money and all of this stuff, and there's just not enough. There's never going to be enough money. Yeah. So the way that we can help ourselves and advocate for ourselves and do that is private health insurance. And I am going to say this now. It is expensive. It's not cheap. I get it. And it might not be affordable. What I would say is find out.
Yeah.
Just find out so you know.
Yeah.
Because what's expensive to me might not be expensive to you and vice versa. Mm-hmm. But also, have you got children? Yeah. They're super cheap to insure. And that means you can advocate for them instead. Yeah. And just as a start, that can be a stepping stone whilst you're figuring out your financial journey. Again, you don't have to just, if you can, pick everything up and pop it in a little package and that fortnightly payment seems fine. Amazing. But that's not going to be the case for most people, and that's okay. But health insurance is it's just going to help you skip that. Like, our experience is so different. Although when I first started having issues a couple of years ago, so you know, we did chat about some of this off air, if that's the right word to say, off air, off camera, like we're on, you know, the radio. No, so we had a chat about this, and a part of my journey as well is that. Part of it, what I've experienced for endo is not just pain, it's not just skin issues, it's headaches, it's fatigue, weight gain. Yep. I put on like 20 kilos in 2 years, and you can't just tell. You know, like have always been, I guess, a naturally, you know, fit and healthy. When I say naturally, no, that's not true. No, it's not natural. I've just always been a small person because I'm quite short. But also I am active. Yeah. You know, I work out all the time. I take care of myself. Definitely probably overdid the booze and the food and everything like we do when we're young here and there. But so that's been a part of it as well. So then you tell me that they're trying to get you to lose weight so that you can get proper treatment. Yeah. It just wouldn't be a thing in the private system because or they might say, just the risks of surgery, but
Yeah.
I think they're making that as a hoop to jump through.
Oh, yeah. And for sure, I can understand that from like a medical perspective, that the risks are higher when your BMI is high. I really can genuinely understand that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really big hurdle to cross, to be able to stop
Definitely easier
the
said than
pain and the tiredness and all of these different things that I go through. Missing out on mahi. Like, there have been times where I literally have to, at mahi, and I'll text my boss, I don't think I'm coming in like at all this week. Like, I'm just not in a good space. I'm tired and everything. And to then be told like, oh, you have to lose X amount of weight to be able to have this solved. It's not in a short-term space that I can actually envisage it happening. It's like, oh, this is going to take like 2 years to be able to do before I can do it.
In a healthy sense, that's how long it should take.
Yeah.
Like...
Unless they want me to like crash diet and just, I don't know.
Yeah, and I just, like, I'm not... And the thing is once you hit that list, you could be there for a few years. Because there's so many of us that need it.
Yeah.
So, I had surgery 9 months ago, and it's all come back, and I'm back there again. And, I remember when I first went to my GP and talked to her about it, I was like, I think this is happening. Do you know what triggered it? Was the changing my birth control. So I went to, how everybody promoted this no hormones and be very careful doing that, and do it with help. But I just thought I knew everything, and I changed birth control from hormonal to non-hormonal, and that's when it came and got me. And so a little bit of me is like, I should just stay on the pill. But now I know a lot about my body, and that's fine. But when I went and saw her and we talked about it, she's like, oh, I need you to do this, and this needs to be met, and this needs to be met. And I'm like, hey, I've got private health. What's the options then? And she is like, it's like she forgets every time I see her what I do. But she said, oh, well, that's fine. Just go see a gynecologist. You don't need to do anything. No hoops. I'm like, okay, cool. I get to book when I have the surgery. I literally rock up and I'm like, I'm here to check in because it's like a hotel but with nurses. It's just nice. You get your own room. It's quiet. They care about you. No one's being mean to you. It's just a good experience. I mean, obviously people don't want to have surgery, but if you need it, which are just quite often I run into people that have and do, you want it to be the best experience possible because then it helps your overall recovery. Yeah. Right. And so I'm getting another one. I'm going to get a hysterectomy. We're just for me, I'm done with kids. And even if I change my mind, I'm not one of those people who's like, they have to be blood. Like, I love, I don't love all children because that would be a lie. But in general, kids are cool. And, if I were to foster or adopt, my partner and I are very open and fluid in that space. And it's just, it's not a big deal. And when my daughter has children, very, very far away, very, very far away, I will be an amazing nan. And that's kind of how I think of things. But for me, I'm like, I just want to live my best life in my best years. And my best years are always going to be the ones that I'm in. Yeah. And I'm always going to want to take care of myself. I do a lot, like we were talking before, I got up at 5 a.m. to do the gym this morning. Now, look, I'm not one of those people who's like, I have to do this and I have to do that. It's just my normal routine to go work out during the week and do something. My daughter even comes with me now. I didn't make her do it. Yeah. She wanted to learn about it and look after herself because she doesn't play sport. Yeah. And I just think like little things, moving your body, taking care of your body, taking care of your skin, your hair, that type of stuff is all well-being and all of that. So we talk about at RMP, when I say we, it's just me and Philly. We're a small business. We talk about plan A. Yep. So plan A is living your best life and your healthy self and doing all the things and nothing's going wrong. And that's, we're manifesting that. Yes. We just here as plan B. We just pop into the side a little plan B.
Just in case.
Just in case. Okay. We're just a little emergency fund.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But it's a lot bigger than what your emergency fund is because there's a lot more money there. And that's why it's financial advice. It's big money. Yeah. It's a big impact if you need it.
And that's the other thing that I think I heard at a seminar, and it was that insurance is this idea that you can either have insurance or you can be self-insured. And if you're self-insured but you have no money, then really you're uninsured.
Yeah. And that's most of New Zealand. Yeah. We will never run out of people to look after because we have such a she'll be right mindset. Yeah. Like Australia, it's very similar when I worked there. And And I don't know about you, I've got a bit of an anxious attachment, and I like to know that things are taken care of.
Yeah, me too, honestly. And cars are a really big one for me.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
I am always telling my friends, like, third party at the bare minimum when it comes to cars, because you never want to be found liable of, like, crashing into a BMW. Like, imagine crashing into, like, a $200,000 car and you just wrote it off. And I don't have 200 grand just sitting there. Like, what would you do? I don't even know.
But I thought you were a multi-millionaire.
One day.
No. Sorry. Inside joke.
Even if I was, though, like, you wouldn't want to spend that much money fixing someone else's car. But for, sometimes a few dollars a week to have that covered, to just that peace of mind for me. It's like I can drive around in my little car and I'm like, okay, I can crash into someone on accident and it will be okay.
On accident, yeah. I think it's like one of those things, it's just a way to take care of yourself.
Yep.
Have your backup plan, have that safety net, then you can just go about your day and just do your thing, live your best life, like I said. That's what insurance is. It's not this big, scary, oh my God, I hate it. It's all sales. And, to be fair, sometimes it is, depending on who you go with and who it is. Like I said, find an advisor who can, like us, or who integrity is their number one thing. And not just because they say it, like you need to feel it, who can point you in the right directions and advocate for you.
Yeah.
Can't tell you how many times I've been on the phone fighting for someone. And I love it. So it's fun. It's a good time.
Bit of a lawyer vibes in you.
Well, see, my daughter's like that. The thing with me is, and the thing with Philly is, we're not necessarily confrontational people. Like, we won't fight for ourselves because we're good. Like, we'll sort ourselves out and we'll do our thing. But if you mess with anybody that we care about and our clients, we're mama bears.
Oh, I love that.
Right? Like, we'll come, nothing scarier than a mama bear, I reckon.
She's powerful. She's feisty.
Yes, yeah. She'll help you with what's right. So, yeah, that's what we do.
Cool. What are some of the myths that people think when they think about these insurances?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, and the most thing, like I put up a poll recently on Instagram around why people don't have insurance or kind of what their thoughts are. Most people said, I see the importance of it. Yeah. Like, I understand it. But there's also the cost of it.
Yeah.
The cost of it is where people get caught up in, and then not trusting the industry or to be paid out. So a couple of things there. The cost of it, I think what I would say here is the cost is what it is. Like, it is what it is, and it's all specific to you and your situation. If you smoke, it's going to cost you more.
Yeah.
If you've got health conditions, it's going to cost you more. That's why I say young and healthy. And health is an absolute privilege. Insurance is an absolute privilege. So it just doesn't come to, you don't automatically go, hey, Rochelle, I want this. Yeah. And I go, yeah, here you go. There's quite a bit to go through. And there's been many a times I've had to tell people no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we can't get you insurance right now. And because of A, B, and C.
Okay.
It does happen. So I think what I would like people to understand is just, you might not want to pay for it, but if you think about not having it and that gives you some form of anxiety, then just go find out.
Yeah.
Go find out what it is. And I'm talking all insurances, not just these ones, but go find out what it is and what it'll do for you, and then sit down and make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Not a decision that you've made based off of what people say or your misconceptions about insurance or what our parents say.
Yeah.
So that older generation just love a good rant. And love them, don't get me wrong, but the insurances and products available now are amazing compared to what they had and the choices they had, because like everything, insurance has developed over the years. So, it got so expensive I could never afford it again. That makes sense because it gets more expensive as we get older. You can actually fix your premiums now. It's called level premiums, not health insurance, but everything else you can. So I could level my premiums for my life insurance until I turn 100. I hope I live that long. But then my premiums won't go up every year.
Oh, okay.
So it'll cost me more at the start.
Yep.
But after a few years, I'll be not making money, but I'll be saving thousands over that period of time.
Yeah.
But our parents are like, oh, I got to 50 and it's super expensive, so I can't afford it anymore. But that's when you need it.
Yeah.
So again, if you have an advisor, they can help you with those things. And also, if you are unsure, our whole feed will have like little hints and tips where you can help review your own cover as well if you're one of those people. The other, I guess, myth around it was insurance companies not paying out. Life insurance companies, I'll say that again, life insurance companies want to pay you out, and health. They want to. They want to give you the cover that you have. No company wants to be that person who said no.
Yeah.
Because it's hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes millions if we're talking life insurance. So nobody wants to be the company that said no to that person and that ends up on Fair Go or in the news or whatever. You know, I don't know if people read newspapers anymore, but whatever.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't even think do they sell them? Like paperwork?
I feel like somebody put one in my letterbox the other day and I was like, what is this?
What is this?
Yeah, like pop it in the recycling bin. And like, I just, because I don't watch the news or listen.
That's so depressing.
That's why, like,
Honestly.
I like to live in my nice little bubble.
Yes.
And I get very affected by social issues,
Yes, me
racism,
too.
sexism, all of that stuff. So it deeply hurts me. So I can only expose myself to it when I need it. And directly one-on-one is enough.
Yeah.
Like when we used to go into lockdowns, Philly would have to call me and tell me what was
You're
going
not allowed to go outside today,
she's like,
Rochelle.
hey mate, you can't leave. I'm like, okay, thank you. I go on social media and that's my news. TikTok. It's real.
Really credible, guys.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at the stats, I guess that's what we need as a backup. Most of the life insurance companies, especially ones I work with, so there's different life insurance companies, by the way. So we've got specialist companies.
Yep.
They make what they do is life insurance, and that's what they're all about, and they're very good at it. And they have advisors under that work with them. So myself, or they might have their direct advisors as well. And then you've got these internet people and phone and whatever that might do, car insurance or whatever else. It's not their specialty.
Ah, okay.
Or the bank or whatever.
Yep.
So I work with specialist companies only because they are the best.
Yep.
And the best doesn't necessarily mean more expensive. Often not. Their payout rates are like mid to high 90s on claims.
Wow.
When they don't pay out,
Yep.
it's because you didn't have the cover in the first place.
Uh,
So it'll be like somebody's only got life insurance and they can't work and they're like, oh, I want to claim on my life insurance. But it's not for that.
Yep.
So that's usually what the claim out would be. Or if you haven't declared a health condition, which we call non-disclosure.
Okay.
Now, it wouldn't be for a little thing of, I broke my ankle, for life insurance, say.
Yep.
It would be something like cancer
Uh,
or something that could have been cancer and it's all been lined up. A heart condition
Yep.
that you didn't tell us about.
Okay.
When we talk to people about replacement advice, so this is where an advisor might recommend you move your cover from one company to another because of the price.
Yeah.
If there's no other reason, I would really question that advice.
Okay.
And if you have any health conditions, be very careful about that.
Yeah.
If you say you move from one company to another because, good price and it's cheaper and that's the cover I want and it's got better cover, and then you go to claim and you can't claim on it, there is no point in saving that money. So if you get advice and get good advice where somebody explains to you why you should move, what benefits you are gaining from that, what benefits you are losing,
Yep.
and the price should be the last thing you're thinking about. Because again, what's the point on what it costs if you can't claim?
Yeah. Because then there's those dollars for nothing.
Yeah. So those are the myths. It's just, and there's probably more out there, but those are the top ones. Is it won't pay out and it costs too much. Honestly, I would challenge you to tell me, what your experience is, and we're all going to have different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of the cost, then let's be like really transparent about the different things. Well, how much does it cost to be insured?
How long's a piece of string? Sorry, it's hard because I guess we, if I explain how the cost is calculated, that's probably a good way to go. So how your premiums are calculated is based on age, smoking status, gender, and that's at birth, not identifiable gender or
and are these just for the health insurance ones or the income ones as well?
All of them. So life, trauma, income protection, health, all these insurances that I give advice on, these are all contributing
motivation
factors.
to not smoke.
Yeah. So big thing on that.
And the little thing is that vaping, she was telling me at dinner last night, is included.
Yeah. So pop down the vape team. No, I'm not going to be judgmental about it. It is what it is. You're just going to pay more for your insurance, okay? But the one thing I'd like to note is that I gave up smoking a year ago. I smoked since I was very, very young.
Yeah.
And that was my second time giving up. So we're out now. We're completely out. But I did not vape because as an insurance advisor, I knew it meant nothing to my insurance premiums if I vaped.
Yeah.
I also felt like health-wise it wasn't necessarily, it was kind of a sidestep.
Yeah.
So I just went without. Not cold turkey. I think I did patches or whatever for a bit. But anyway, my insurance premiums, because you have to have stopped for a full year, my insurance premiums, I am saving $30 a fortnight.
Wow.
For quitting.
Wow.
And that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Because
correct me if my maths is wrong. So like $15 a week over like 52 weeks a year is something like $600-700 a year.
Yeah. So I am in finance and I do not have a calculator brain.
Neither. I'm just like something like $600-700.
Yeah. Anywhere between there. Yeah. And someone will probably pop in comments and tell us.
Can someone let us know in the comments how much?
Just like have that kind of brain.
15 times 52 is because.
Yeah, if I was good at maths, I wouldn't make insurance fun. Different personality types. But I think I'm moving away. I think the way to look at that is you'll pay for it if you smoke, essentially. So gender, age, smoking status, job role, which would affect income protection.
How does the gender go into it? Do men or women pay more?
So men's life insurance is more expensive because statistically they die before women.
Yeah.
All women's other covers, so
like
living,
and
health insurance, all more expensive because we claim on it more.
Oh.
So the insurance joke, which is very poor form, is women get sick and men die. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I mean, if you think about the tani in your life, do they go to the doctor?
No.
Like ever, even if they ask?
No.
Yeah.
No,
so
they never go to the doctor.
There are some that are really good at it, and they take care of themselves. But the way that I would look at like health in general is preventative, rather than emergency.
Yeah.
Is going to help you live a longer life.
Mm.
I'm not a doctor, but statistically that's what I see. That's how I read the stats.
Yep.
Take really good care of yourself, and you'll live longer.
Mm.
As women, we need to be well for our children. So sometimes I think that sometimes that's the pull. I'm not too sure what the thought. As you speak to different women, they'll tell you different things. But for me, looking after myself, there was a while where I was like, I'd rather not know. I don't want to know if I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Don't Google your symptoms, fam. Just go see your GP. Go see someone. But I think, working out the cost is based on all of those things.
Okay.
And it's worked out on claims.
Yep.
For that particular insurance company. So different insurance companies will have different pricing because of the way they run their business.
Yeah.
What else is included in there? Oh, I did say job role before. Yep. So that would be for income protection. Say you working on a building site as opposed to working in an office, you're going to pay more for your income protection than the person working in the office.
Yeah. And
why that happens is more physical role. So it's harder for you to get back to work if you're unwell, as opposed to like you and I could work from bed.
Yeah.
You know, like as long as I've got a laptop and a phone, I'm good to go. So that's pricing, and then the limits of what you have, or the covered amounts.
Okay.
So $100,000 of insurance and $1 million worth of life insurance is obviously going to have massive, changes. Health insurance, do you just have surgery cover? Do you just have everyday cover? Have you got specialists and all the add-ons? Or is it just, one of those things?
Yeah.
The more you have, obviously, the more you're going to pay. Surgical cover, so that's surgery and cancer treatment type stuff in hospital, in a private hospital, is expensive. And you're not going to claim on it all the time. You're not going to see the benefit until you do. And it's not a matter of if you claim, it's generally a matter of when, and then it'll pay back all your premiums. Because the surgery, I mean, I've had a few. My last one was about 23 grand. My next one's going to be between 30 and 40. I'm kind of okay with what I paid for health insurance premiums based on that.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to give like an indication of what it costs, because your insurance is so specific to you. There's no one size fits all. And then your health will affect it, your job, your like what you do, what you want for cover.
So just based on those, the ones that we can kind of control. So the smoking one way to decrease the amount we're paying, and the health, so preventative measures.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. So looking after yourself,
Yep.
and BMI is something that comes up in questions quite often whenever we share stuff. So yes, some people with a higher BMI are going to pay more for insurance. Some people with a higher BMI may not be able to get cover. Look, I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but it is the system we work within. And I work with people to say, okay, if you can get to this level, this is how it's going to affect your premiums.
Yeah.
And we talk about options of ways that they can look after themselves to get them there. I know as well that it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
You know, my wellness journey is going to be a forever thing, not a I'm going to do this challenge and I'm going to lose all this weight in 3 months. Like it's just not healthy.
Yeah.
So those things, yes, they will help. And do you know how many people that have come to me where like I put insurance in place for them 2 years ago and they've lost 20 kilos?
Oh.
And like it gives me so much joy to be like, okay, your insurance premiums are cheaper.
Oh, that's cool.
I get paid based off people's insurance premiums. I just want to kind of put that out there as well. And if they then come to me in a year's time and those are going down, I'm happy. I'm not, you know, I might have to pay back some money because that's gone down.
Yep.
But I don't care. I'm just like, in my heart, I'm like, yes, we can get rid of some of this for you.
Yeah.
Because it's not a put it in place and forget about it.
Yep.
We're always going to
Doing
review
that
it.
1 year reviews.
Yes. Yep. So when I email you, email me back.
So does RMP, do you like kind of follow up on all the clients?
Absolutely, because you guys are all useless
year?
at life admin, and you know it. Like,
I was like just checking because I know I'll forget.
Yep. No, we have reminders. We've got a very good client system. It's all electronic, that type of stuff. So we call, email, check in, say, hey, do you need a review? Has anything changed? Blah, blah, blah. We then expect you in between, if something big happens in your life, like you go buy a house, for you to come to us before that. But we take care of that. We're very good at looking after your life admin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we need in life, isn't it?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I wish I had one of those.
Thank you, Rochelle, for sharing all of your information on life and health insurances. We will be back for episode 3 to go over some more insurances. But thank you again to RMP Insurance for powering these episodes. Ngā mihi te whānau.